Got Your Back Pod Stream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at MrDirk.com. All right, what's going on, folks? How was your Monday? Hope you had a great one. Or if you're listening on Tuesday, I hope your day is going great so far. Welcome to Got Your Back, off-night edition. Oilers, couple of days off, in between games on the road, getting set to take on Vegas on Wednesday night. And in the meantime, rosters have been submitted. So we're getting set to talk a little Team Canada for Nations Faceoff with Rob Brown and Jason Strudwick as well. Looking forward to a great show here tonight. We are live on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, all over the place. Thanks for joining us if you're hopping in here on our live stream. As always, the show is brought to you by our great title sponsor, Play Alberta. Why choose Play Alberta? Well, just ask any hockey fan who loves odds boosts and player props, same-game parlays, or slots players who love the massive jackpots, or lottery players who can grab last-minute tickets on the go. Deposit today. Get a $50 free bet with code GYB12. Notice that has changed. We're in the 12th month. So the code now for playalberta.ca is GYB12. Coming at you from our Adrenaline Diesel studio here in Sherwood Park. Now with an online store for all your diesel truck part needs. Check out adrenalinediesel.ca. As we check in with the gentlemen, Rob Brown, Jason Strudwick, both at their home posts, and Zuby is rocking the controls from his house in Kelowna. So a day off on the road yesterday for the Oilers, gentlemen. Brownie, how did you like when one of your days off fell while you were on the road? No practice, no nothing, just full day off on the road, bud.
I liked all days off. It didn't matter, road, home, anytime. It was a day off, it's a day off. It was fun. And it was, when I played, we most of the beginning of my career, we traveled never by charter. So we had a lot of days that we would spend in cities. I loved having extra days off when we went on the California swing. Exhibition season through San Fran, Oakland, that. Vegas, I was in the minors when we used to play against Vegas. But when you had days off in Vegas, especially in the minors, you had a good time in Vegas.
Yeah, I was the same way. We didn't get a lot of days off. So I'd take a day off anytime. But when it was on the road, it was the day off. It was always the same. We'd go for a walk or something in the morning, go to a mall, have lunch, go to a movie, then just go home, hang out for a bit, and then, go eat somewhere, then come home and probably watch another movie. You did literally nothing, just recover.
Oh, no. That was different than my days off. I remember in Pittsburgh, once we were in LA and we rented a limo, went through to Muscle Beach, and then we went up to the Playboy Mansion, and we went to Hollywood Strip. Yeah, we did not watch movies on our days off. I'm glad I wasn't with the island. That would have been boring.
No, it was. This is when I was a little older. When I was younger, I was just trying to recover from a good night out.
1 o'clock practice for the Oilers today too. So you see that on the schedule. Day off the one day and a 1 o'clock practice the following day. I mean, every once in a while, you kind of got to build in some fun for the fellas on the road, don't you, Struddy? Like you work together, you come up with a practice time that makes sense, and I don't know. There's got to be some conjunction there. The management and staff and everybody works together. You got to pick your spots here and there, don't you?
Well, I think that it is part of growing as a team is having fun as a team. I think you have to appreciate that as a coach and understand that. Now, you don't want them going out, every time 2 nights before a game. But I think that if there's a window, especially in Vegas, you probably know what's going to happen. Why not somewhat direct it to give them a chance?
Well, it's funny. I got a good Vegas story. We were at the minors, and I was with Chicago Wolves. We went out one night, and we came back quite late at night. And we're in an elevator, me, Steve Malte, and a guy named Dan Curry, who I played World Juniors with, Dog, one of my favorite people I played with. He wouldn't get out of the elevator. He just stood there, kept letting the doors bang on him, wouldn't let him close. We're trying to get up to our room. So my buddy Maltz pushes him. And Kerdog might have had a couple, fell straight backwards, bangs his head off of those little desks that are against the wall, out cold.
Oh, no.
Blood, all this blood. We have to go get a trainer, get him into the trainers. The trainer puts some Band-Aids on him.
No.
Should go to the hospital. We're like, we're not going to the hospital. Curfew was 3 hours ago. No way we're going to the hospital. But Kerdog to his bed. Next day we practice. And wouldn't you know it, Kerdog is wearing a white jersey that day. And as he starts sweating, the blood starts coming out of his hair. And now his sweater is just filling up with red blood. It was really hard to hide it from the coaches when Kerdog started with a white jersey and it was pink to bright red by the end of practice. So yeah, Vegas is fun. Good times in Vegas.
You ever have to hide an injury, Struds, or know of anybody that had to hide an injury from the coach because it was nefarious in nature?
No hangovers for sure, though. Guys are hanging. I remember Liam Radix. We had a rookie party in Montreal, and
Liam Radix.
Yeah, one of my favorite teammates, the best guy.
Really?
And he was such a good guy. He
was not around that long, hey?
No, but he was just fun. He was just a fun guy to be around. He had a great night in his rookie party, and he had to hold the rail as he skated around the rink. He was so bad. So what you do in that situation, a good team is like, hey, just keep going to the back of the line. Hey, just Brownie, get to the back of the line, get to the back of the line. So Reds was so bad. And I don't think he did one drill. He was horrendous. He couldn't do anything. And I've had those days before. So after practice, Kelly Buckberg skates like, Struddy, did you guys have a rookie party last night? He's like, yeah. He goes, you guys look pretty good. You must not have gone that hard. I'm like, oh my God. You better take another look. We were awful. But just for fans listening, generally speaking, if you have a night out, you feel so guilty and so compelled to have a good game because you do not want to screw your coach and GM over. So you come out, you're more than ready to go because you don't want to, because if you have a bad game, let's say you go out on Saturday and you play Monday and you lose 7-0 on Monday, there's no way they're going to let you do it again. That's why you want to come out and you have to bring everything. The captain will say, boys, come on, we need this one. You got to be ready. And usually you do respond hard.
Practicing guilty. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And by the way, have no idea what the Oilers got up to. As far as I know, they would have all been tucked into their beds at night. Who knows? It's just I thought that was interesting. The day off in Vegas, 2 days between games there. That's interesting on the road. The Oilers have been dynamite on the road lately as well. And that probably buys you a little breathing room too. Hey, Struds, when you're on the road and you're taking care of business, a little more freedom to do your thing. Okay, so here's just going to set up the podcast here real quick. We'll update the Oilers from their skate today. Some news and notes and information. We'll chat a little bit about that. Then in our first segment here, we're going to give our Four Nations Team Canada rosters. The rosters were submitted, not announced publicly yet. That'll come on Wednesday, I believe. Wednesday.
Yep.
And then, so we'll go over our rosters, and then we'll have Struddy's World and Brownie Points. I had a conversation with new Elks head coach Mark Kilam today. So we're going to hold takeaways for our third segment. We will play that interview. Got your back story from the new head coach as well. Learn a little bit more about him. That's coming up, as well as Ask Us Anything. We'll take a lap as well. So nice full podcast ahead. But for now, let's get to our breakdown brought to you by the Alberta Ram Dealers. The Drive at Home holiday event is here. Get up to $13,600 in total discounts on a 2024 Ram 1500 DT Laramie Crew Cab. Just a gorgeous vehicle. See your local Ram dealers today if you want to take one for a test drive. See how it does out there in the snow. Guarantee you will not be disappointed. Okay, so here's what we can update for you from practice today. Zach Hyman was not skating on a regular line. Chris Knobloch wouldn't commit, said he would be a game-time decision. My guess is with today being a full skate, tomorrow maybe being an optional, if Hyman was likely to play, I feel like he would have skated on a line today. That's just my gut in having watched him over the last little bit here under Knobloch and how they handle injured players. So we'll see what happens, gentlemen. But for now, the lines basically stayed the same with McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, Kapanen, Podkolzin, Draisaitl, Brown. You had Skinner with Henrique and Janmark, and then Kajula, Perry with Derek Ryan in the middle. So not much in the way it changes as you would expect. Things are going pretty good here. But Kapanen remains up on that top line and is going to continue to get looks here. Brownie, it feels like the group's turning a nice corner here, man. It feels like the play is coming around. The record over the last, 10 games, their road record, like some things are turning here.
I think so. I think you take away the first 3 games of the season, there was a lot of other games that the Oilers played well, didn't get the results they wanted, and the players talked about it. This is a team, again, you want to get better as the season moves on. First 10 games aren't as important as the next 10, and so on and so on. It's a good hockey club. It's a team that many have picked to go far in the playoffs, if not win the Stanley Cup. I haven't changed my opinion. I didn't change my opinion when they started the season 0-3 or whatever it was, and haven't changed it now. They are a good hockey club. Their best players are playing well. Their goaltending over the last 7 games, I think there's been 1 blip. The other 6 games, very good. This is a team that gets better as the season moves on, and that's what you want, eh, Struds?
You do, for sure. And I think that guys are ticking up. But I guess I am a little bit concerned about the injuries to Hyman and Arvidsson. Not that I'm suggesting that these are year threatening, but correct me if I'm wrong, Shog, and you're around there more. My understanding was that they were short term when we started. Now we're getting pretty deep into it, and not only games missed, but we just had 6 days. They had a pretty long break there, 5-6 days between games, and still nothing. So where have you heard, or is there any sense about where these guys are at with their injuries? Because it is like they know Oilers need them. They're better with those guys in the lineup.
Chris Knobloch, he didn't say anything about Arvidsson today, at least in his availability. And there are some reporters on the road there, but they checked on Hyman and he said he's close, very close. It was the terminology that he used. So Struds, I think we're getting to the end of it here on Hyman. Don't know if he'll be available for that game or not against Vegas tomorrow. But he was labeled as very close. The Arvidsson one is a little different. Like it's taken a long time here. And he was close before, it was looked like he was ready to go. Then he gets pulled last minute. Now he hasn't really been in the vicinity. So, yeah, Arvidsson definitely, and he's got this in his history, right? If you look back at his games played, he's usually in that somewhere in the 60 to, 55 to 65, 70 range. I think he's hit 80 once. So he generally misses some time during the year. But they do have some guys, Struds, that are doing a pretty good job filling in here. I don't see Podkolzin getting bumped out of the top 6 when either of these guys come back, though. Do you think it's automatic that with Arvidsson and with Hyman back, that Podkolzin is one of the ones that gets bumped out of the top 6? To me, I mean, Connor Brown goes down in Kapanen, but I think Podkolzin holds.
I agreed, and I think that's up. I think that's up to Leon. I think that if no, and I'm not trying to say he's running the team, but when you're that level of player, there are conversations the coach will have with you, and you'll say, "So, how's it going? How do you feel about this or that? And get a sense." And I think Leon truly likes playing with Podkolzin. I really truly believe that. And now on the other side, Connor Brown's working hard, but I think that Arvidsson is an upgrade on him, just with I think the way his career has gone. So. And then obviously Hyman goes back in beside. So it's unfortunate for Kapanen, but he's out whether he deserves or not. He's out because Hyman is in that spot again, guys.
Well, I mean, all Kapanen and Connor Brown are placeholders for Arvidsson and Hyman. So, I mean, there was no discussion of Nuge or Podkolzin moving out of those spots. Brown and Kapanen were just placeholders and done a pretty good job. But they'll move down the depth chart when the 2 players come back. It's funny with Arvidsson, though. It was a maintenance day. When this whole thing started with Arvidsson, he missed the very first practice. It was a maintenance day. There's been a lot of maintenance on poor Victor Arvidsson. We haven't seen him in a while.
No kidding. And Jeff Skinner isn't exactly beating the door down to get into that top 6 either. I mean, he's been okay. He's had some okay looks here and there, but he is not making a significant case to squeeze any. But look at the guys. If I would have told you that Kasperi Kapanen, Connor Brown, and Vasily Podkolzin would all be playing in the top 6 ahead of Jeff Skinner when the season started, you guys would have said I was nuts. Yet here we are seeing it, and it's happening right now. So not sure what the situation is with Skinner. I'm not sure where you guys think his game is at, but to not be able to crack the top 6 with 2 top 6 players out feels like a pretty significant indictment on their feelings on him, playing there, Brownie.
Yeah, I mean, if he was going to be there, that would be the time for him to shine. There's something in his game that Knobloch doesn't care for.
Yeah.
And so far, Skinner hasn't changed the narrative. It'd be interesting when these players come back where Skinner fits in. I mean, Connor Brown normally plays on your third line with Henrique and Janmark. That moves Skinner back down to the fourth line. But I do believe, based on what we've seen, that Chris Knobloch likes Kapanen better than he likes Skinner. So now does Kapanen move and Skinner get bumped even further down, which would be a press box. But I mean, there's always injuries, so you never know when a full lineup is going to be available to Knobloch. But yeah, I think Skinner has not, and obviously it's to do with his defensive play, has not put himself in a position for more ice time in a time when the Oilers actually were desperately needing guys to play in your top six. Like, they picked up a guy on waivers to play ahead of Jeff Skinner, who they signed to be in your top six.
I hinted at this last time, and I think it's worth exploring. I think that there at some point there'll be a conversation between Skinner, the coach, the agent, and the GM. Say, where are we at here, right? What's going on? Because maybe it's just not a fit, right? Maybe that's the case, because Skinner's also looking towards, he signed a 1-year, friendly deal to come here, and it's not working. And if he's not playing with 2 top 6 forwards out in the top 6, are we going to see that again, where there's 33% of the top 6 guys aren't in there? He'll get another chance to play in there. So I think, honestly, and I'm not running him out of town, this is just reality, that at some point say, you know what, guys, this is maybe not a fit for us here, and for you, then they try to find something else for him somewhere else.
In the YouTube stream, we got Matt Blom, who's a well-known Vancouver Canuck fan, but a very welcome guest here on our Got Your Back live stream, saying, we want to dump Höglander. You Oil want a former 24 goal scorer from last year, so trying to dump other Vancouver Canuck potentials over to the Edmonton Oilers. Thanks, Matt. I'm sure Oiler fan appreciates that suggestion. Okay, let's get to the Weiss Johnson Soundbox, guys. Get your home holiday ready with Weiss Johnson. Any new furnace installed before Christmas, they're offering free duct cleaning. Whether your old furnace has given up or you're just looking to upgrade from a cozier holiday, they have got you covered, and your ducts too. Visit weiss-johnson.com for more details.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
Connor McDavid asked today about a couple of things, including the team's overall play here recently, and if they're turning a corner.
I think we're always trying to grow our game, always trying to build momentum, and just when you think you build momentum, it can stop just as suddenly. So, big test here tomorrow night against a division rival. A game to get up for sure.
You like playing these guys? You've played them a lot, eh?
Yeah, I do enjoy it. It's a great rink to play. They're a great team. It's a great test, great challenge, and a fun building to play in.
All right, Oilers in Vegas set to go tomorrow. I think that's an 8 p.m. start I have on my calendar, so a bit of a later one. Okay, guys, rosters have been submitted. In some cases, they're leaking out a little bit here and there. How about John Tortorella today? Gathering his team around and doing stick taps and high fives for 3 members of his team. Sanheim Konechny, who would both be on Team Canada, and who's the other one? Ristolainen?
Yep.
Yeah, Rasmus Ristolainen. So maybe giving things away a little bit there. But we're going to get to doing some prognostications and some projections here, guys. So we didn't get our rosters in early enough for Zuby to do some big fancy graphics or anything like that. So we're just going to kind of work our way through what our Team Canadas look like. And I think maybe the way to do this is we'll kind of use my roster as a template, and I will name some players. And if you guys do not have this player on your roster, just speak up. And then we'll go over who, in fact, you do have on your roster after the fact. And then we can talk about some lines and such as well. So there's the obvious ones, right? Now, I might have one right up at the top that you guys might not. And I've done this in line combinations as well. So I have Connor McDavid, and I've got Braden Point on his wing. Over on the left side, I have Mark Scheifele, who at the start of the year was far from a lock to be on this team, who I believe played his way onto the team. Do both of you have Scheifele as well?
I've got him as my 13th forward.
Struds?
I have him playing right wing with McDavid.
Okay, so you got him over on the other side. I've got Nathan McKinnon as the second line center. Mitch Marner over on his right side. I got Sam Reinhart on left wing. You guys have all three of those players as well, I assume.
Yeah.
Yep. Except I have Marner playing with McDavid, and I got a different player playing with McKinnon, but I have all three of those players.
Okay, sounds good. I really like a third line centered by Sidney Crosby with Brad Marchand over on the left side. Has experience playing with him in international play. They've had some success together. And another veteran in Mark Stone over on the right wing is my third line. Discrepancies?
That's my exact third line as well.
Yeah, you guys stole it
like
from
it.
me.
Really? We all like Stone. Okay, I like it. We're all thinking along the same lines. I like it. Okay, this may be where there will be some differences. Cirelli for me is the fourth line center. Konechny over on the right side, and well, Torts kind of gave that one away today. On the left side, and he potentially could be the 13th forward instead. I've got Sam Bennett, gentlemen. How about you?
I've got, as my fourth line, I got Cirelli, Konechny, and I got Hagel.
Yep.
Who probably has a leg up because he plays for the coach who's coaching Team Canada. And up with McKinnon, you didn't match. I got Matt Duchene playing with McKinnon and Reinhart. So I do not have Sam Bennett. I got Duchene and Hagel in the lineup up front.
Wow, I like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have Reinhart with McDavid and Scheifele. Then I have Sam Bennett with McKinnon and Marner. I want a little bit of muscle up there and some hustle.
Got him up high. Okay.
Yeah, and then I got Verhaeghe with Point and Konechny. And then my 13th forward is a young guy who is a one-shot scorer, Connor Bedard.
You're taking Connor Bedard, hey?
I got to look ahead. I got to start building for the future. So
no,
I debated that one. So that means no Hyman. Duchene, I don't have him. I don't even know how to spell his name, so I don't have him on my team.
He's having a hell of a year.
He's having a very, very good year, yes.
Okay, couple of things here. Let's discuss personnel, and then we can talk line combinations a little bit there. So no Matt Duchene. I've got Hagel. It was my extra forward, by the way. So that's the 13th forward for me was Brandon Hagel. So no Matt Duchene. No, none of us have Zach Hyman in there. I think the injury definitely, and his start to the season coupled with the injury puts him in a pretty tough spot, I would say. Okay, so run through our first lines again. Who are you thinking with Connor McDavid, Brownie?
I got Point and Marner.
Point and Marner.
Scheifele and Reinhart. Scheifele and Reinhart.
Scheifele and Reinhart. Okay. Yeah, Scheifele is interesting. Like, I think Connor McDavid needs to just have like dynamite goal scorers with him. I think we all know that. Braden Point's got 16 already this year. Reinhart's got a pile. So, I don't think you can go wrong with any of those guys in and around that top six. But Sam Bennett on a second line. Hey, Struddy?
Yeah, no, I love Sam Bennett. I love his game this year. I mean, he just won a Stanley Cup, and he was a really important part of that team. So I'm putting Sam up there, and he understands how to win.
Interesting.
Love him as a player. I do love him as a player. I just don't. I think there's 13 guys better up front than Sam Bennett. I do love Bennett, but this to me, there's 13 guys that deserved. Bennett's not having a fantastic start to the season, as opposed to some of these other players. Yeah,
for sure. Well, I mean, I liked. There was talk about lots of people had Tom Wilson on their list, which really surprised me. I mean, and I have a lot of respect for the way Tom Wilson plays the game, but I feel like, he's got 9 goals, 19 points so far this year. I feel like he's one of those guys that, has the potential to take one of those penalties in a short tournament that you just don't want to have a guy taking. Bennett's got 12 goals and 23 points in 24 games. So I like the energy and I like the physicality. Really similar though, across the board with the forwards, that third line, I think, just solid veterans, hey, Struds, like being able to lean on that line in any situation.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, guys. I'd be interested in your thoughts. I have Scheifele beside McDavid, but I had Stone in there. And this is why. I know he's too slow. The guy is so smart. And I think to play with McDavid, you have to be a really, really smart player. I'm not suggesting Scheifele isn't. That's not but I think that Stone is so smart. He understands how to play. And I think defensively, I think he's probably better than Scheifele. So I think that is not a bad thing to have beside Connor. So I would love to see Stone there, but I really like Scheifele as a player. So those two, Like I have Martinez McKinnon, no doubt, but Scheifele and Stone, those two to me they'd be interchangeable. You could talk me into either one having them there, but should be noted, no Barzal, no Stamkos.
Yeah.
No.
Lafreniere out of the mix.
Nope.
Robert Thomas is another one out of the mix there too, who's having a heck of a good year. Probably an underrated player in these conversations.
I think he's a fantastic hockey player, and I love watching him play. But that's the problem up front for the Team Canada. There's probably 5 or 6 other players that are deserving of being there, probably even more than that. But Thomas was a tough one, not having him in this lineup, just like not having Zach Hyman. Zach Hyman was an automatic, but the injury in the start to the season and the way I'm picking mine, it's based on what you've done this year. Yeah. Hyman next year for the Olympics, maybe he's playing with Connor McDavid, but I'm just basing it on this season.
Yeah. All right, good stuff. Let's move to the defense. Struds, why don't you take us through your blue line, my friend, and we'll let you know if we have any discrepancies on that.
I think it's really important to have some consistency there. So the top 4 are so easy. Taves, Makar, Pietrangelo, and Shea Theodore. Like those 4 are so easy. They've won, they've played together. Like that is so easy. Then it gets a little more interesting after there. There's no way I don't have Josh Morrissey playing. So Josh is in there as well. And then I have Evan Bouchard beside him because I want guys that can move the puck and pass the puck. That to me, that's really important. Then my extra guy, and this is assuming he's fine, is Drew Doughty. I just don't know how you don't have Drew in there. And I could see him platooning with Bouchard. Just the gamesmanship of Doughty is something that I think you need, not just for the back end, but for the whole group.
Brownie?
I've got, the first 4 automatic. Actually, my first 5 are automatic. Morrissey as well. So I've got those 5. I don't have Evan Bouchard. I've got Dougie Hamilton there instead. I think Dougie Hamilton's having a fantastic year this year. If you wanted someone says, well, you need a second power play guy, Dougie Hamilton's your guy. He's got a big booming shot as well. My extra player is Drew Doughty, based if he's healthy. We don't know, so we're throwing if he's not healthy. My extra player was Owen Power on the back end.
Interesting. Yeah, he's forget about him. I mean, he was right in the conversation when we were thinking about rosters back in the summertime. But they're definitely an embarrassment of riches back there on a couple of different fronts. I'm the same. Taves, Makar, Theodore Pietrangelo. I've got Morrissey. I got Mackenzie Weegar in there. I like he's having a heck of a year. Yeah. I think there's more of a defensive conscience there. I believe they're going to fundamentally structure this team with defense in mind. You've got lots of offense in Cale Makar. Josh Morrissey can produce offense as well. Weegar's nothing to shake a stick at, and then those other 2. So look, it's been a tough start for Evan Bouchard. His game has come around. He's putting up points. If he were defending anywhere near the level he was late in the season last year or the Stanley Cup playoffs, he's on this team. But the defensive part of his game hasn't been where it ended last year, and I think that probably ends up costing him a spot on this team. Could be wrong, but I got Mackenzie Weegar in there. And then Travis Sanheim as the extra. And I'll reiterate, guys, I do believe there was probably conversation about Sanheim or Nurse. Which of those guys to bring along. I do believe Nurse got himself into the conversation here, and good for him. But it sounded like out of Philadelphia today, like Sanheim was on the team. So we'll wait a couple of days and hear the announcement. But interesting stuff there. I want to circle back to the forwards really quick because there was some discrepancy there, and I never let you guys talk it through. Struds, sell Brownie on why Bedard should be there.
He's just, I think he hasn't had a great year scoring wise. But what I believe there needs to be some thought to moving the in the future. So you have him there. He's playing. I think you can drop him anywhere, and he's a one-shot scorer. And I'll take that chance if I'm looking for a guy to put him in there. I'll find my way. And I think that as the team goes on, you're probably playing mostly 3 lines, right? I mean, all due respect to some of those other guys. So I'm not sure that those 11, 12, 13 forwards are ultimately important, but I do have an eye on the future. I have Bedard there.
See, and I don't have Bedard there because I don't think Bedard's he just went, 9 games, 10 games, 12 games without a goal.
Yeah.
I mean, he's there to score. I disagree with you where you can drop him in anywhere. You can't drop him in on your 3rd or 4th line. He can't play there. He doesn't play good enough defense yet. So to me, there's not a player in my 13 that isn't having a better season than Connor Bedard. Connor Bedard might be in the Olympics next year for Canada, and he's going to be a fantastic hockey player. But if I'm picking my team right now, I'm picking the 13 best forwards that are available to me. If I was going to pick based on who might be there, I'd put Hyman in there ahead of Bedard. Hyman gives you more right now. Hyman can penalty kill. Bedard can't. So my bottom 6 are all guys that would be very good penalty killers and give you a little bit of raspiness when you play against Kachuk and the players on the American team. So Duchesne is having a fantastic season right now. And I love to see him with McKinnon and Reinhart. And Hagel, to me, Hagel and Cirelli, you're talking about having a little bit of chemistry. They play in Tampa. They play for the coach who's going to be coaching the team, who probably had a little bit of say on who he wants on his team. So to me, my fourth line of Hagel, Cirelli, and Konecny, that is a line that you can put out there, and they will play with a little bit of edge as well as be able to score goals too. So Bedard, to me, he's not even. I probably have 5 or 6 other guys that I would put on the team before I'd have Connor Bedard right now.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Struds. Bedard really needs to get himself sorted out this year. He is not a lock to be on the Olympic team next year. He's just not. And investing a spot into a guy that may or may not be there, if he were just a dead set lock, I would say okay. And just having an off year here, he needs to get it sorted out. We'll see how many goals he finishes with. But I'm with Brownie on this one. I don't think you bring him just with the Olympics in mind. But it'll be interesting to see which way they go. Okay, guys, goaltending. Pierre LeBrun reporting, I don't know, a week or so ago, Binnington and Hill, his understanding was basically those decisions had already been made, that Jordan Binnington and Aiden Hill were going to be there. So kind of, do whatever you want with who you would pick or who you think will be there. But Brownie, who do you got?
Well, I went with Binnington and Hill, partly from what they said, partly because they both won Stanley Cups. So Canada doesn't have, the Marc-Andre Fleury, the Carey Price, the Roberto Luongo, that one guy that you knew was going to be your starting goaltender. They've got guys right now that have been competing all season long to see who could make the team. Binnington and Hill, and then my other guy's Logan Thompson, having a fantastic. The biggest surprise in the National Hockey League to me is the Washington Capitals. The season I had them so far out of the playoffs this year. And they've got a coach that I've never heard of. Still can't tell you what his name is. Yet they've bought in to play this defensive style hockey, and they're getting solid goaltending. Of the 3 goalies, Logan Thompson by far has been the best of these 3 goaltenders. So he's my third goalie, and I don't know if he's third on their roster, if he's first, if he's second, but Binnington, Hill, and Thompson are my 3 goalies.
Pretty tough. This is a pretty tough thing for the goaltenders. Not clear at all. And I wouldn't be really comfortable, although the 2 guys that I'm picking, Hill and Binnington, have both won Stanley Cups, but I don't know that they come with the pedigree of some that, the 10 deep Russian goalies they have. Or the Americans. Yeah. So that's a really tough one. So I go with Aiden Hill and I'll go with Binnington. And then this is going to seem like a homer pick, and it probably is. I'm going to go with Stu Skinner, and this is why. We've seen him have a really good run last year. His game isn't where he wants to be just yet this year, but I think you have to believe that it will eventually kind of come around. But this guy has the ability to find the moments and step up in those big moments, none bigger than the Stanley Cup, the last 4 games of the Stanley Cup last year. So I'm going Stu as my third.
Yeah, and I'm with you, Struds. I actually have Skinner as well as my third goaltender. So his game is coming around. As the Oilers' game is coming around, so too is Stu Skinner's. I think that, his last, I think he's won maybe 5 of his last 7 starts. His last 4 games, the numbers have been pretty good. I think he's looking steadier. I think he's finding it. This is the other thing. They're picking this, a month and a half in advance. Like this is, or more than that, they're picking this a couple of months in advance. So you have to prognosticate a little bit down the road here. And with Binnington's numbers what they are and Hill's numbers what they are, like Thompson is off to a great start. Cam Talbot should be in the conversation if you just want to talk what you've accomplished this season. But I think there's a chance that not only will Skinner be on this team, but in 2 months' time, he could be playing as well as either Binnington or Hill, for sure, for me. And I think, people say, well, Stanley Cups. Well, Stuart Skinner out-dueled Jake Ottinger in a conference final under huge pressure, and then took his team to Game 7 of a Stanley Cup final. Oh, and by the way, in Game 7, did his job. Mm-hmm. He did his job in Game 7. So just like those other guys did their job in their Stanley Cup clinching games, right? He just happened to not win his with his team. So I think Skinner's got not only a chance to be on the roster, but maybe playing as well, if not better, than the other two come tournament time, Brownie.
Well, in all honesty, if I was to take out, if you're going to put Skinner in, I would take Hill or Binnington out before I take Thompson out. Because right now, if you go with Binnington, Hill, and Skinner, and you look at their goals against average, you look at their save percent, that's not good. You're like, well, this is who we're going with? Can we borrow one of the Americans, please?
Pardon?
So to me, I understand what you're saying, and I 100%. This is a couple months away, and you're trying to read where this player is going to be, where this goalie's going to be. I'm fine with Skinner on the team. I want Skinner on the team. I think what he could learn there would be so good for him in his future here and set up for a really nice finish to the season. So if I was to go with Skinner, I would take out I'd probably take Hill out and keep Logan Thompson in there. I wouldn't take Thompson out. To me, he is by far the best Canadian goaltender so far this year. So I would keep Thompson and take one of the other two out. So I have no problem with Skinner being in the mix. The problem that for Skinner being named on Wednesday, Skinner's best hockey has been in the last week and a half. And in the last week and a half, I mean, had they already decided a week and a half, like had anyone come in to watch Skinner, or had he already been written off because of what he done in the first 10 starts of the season? So that's the one issue.
Challenge with Thompson. When has he ever had massively important moments in an NHL or an international at the highest level? Not anything else, World Junior, right? That's the hard. So how's he going to react in the biggest moments? Mm-hmm. I don't want to find that out if I'm in a gold medal game, right? That's the challenge for I think Logan, that if I'm sitting in that room, I'm like, yeah, he's had a nice regular season. Mm-hmm. When has he ever been in the highest of pressure situations? I think
100%.
Makes a difference.
You're right.
In that. But you have to start somewhere. You do have to start somewhere, but you'd rather you start it. If you're picking a team, you'd rather start with your own NHL team and then not.
Yeah, but that's why right now I've got him as my number 3 goalie, because he's there in case something goes wrong. He is the only Canadian goaltender that has had a solid, consistent start to the year. Mm-hmm. So that's why I got him. But I like Skinner. I hope Skinner makes it. I hope Skinner makes it. I hope Bouchard makes it. I hope Hyman makes it. I do hope all those guys do it. I just don't think – I think there's a lot of players in the National Hockey League, and there's players that have outplayed these guys so far this season.
All right. Great discussion, guys. And you know what? I think if you were to dump a bunch of truth serum into Jeff Jackson, Stan Bowman, certainly Daryl Cates, you know what they would be saying, guys? Do you know how owners and management are actually feeling about this event this year? Like there is nothing good comes from having your players go to this tournament this year. Nothing good. Like the Olympics is different. I think people understand the growth of the game and all that kind of stuff. From a team standpoint, Struddy, you don't want you want no party. You want your players with their feet up on a beach. That's not the way that it's going to be. But for the guys that aren't going, I'm sure management is just fine with that.
Yeah, no, I've expressed my interest level in this tournament, and it's very low. It's very, very, very low. It's the poorest of man's Olympics they're trying to create. And Brownie and I have had a discussion today. Brownie, why don't you rattle off the players that aren't going to be in this tournament?
Well, the top 2 scorers in the NHL aren't in the tournament. That's was it Necas, the guy plays in Carolina.
Martin Necas,
Kaprizov. Yeah, Kaprizov's not there. Draisaitl, Pasternak, Kucherov, Vasilevsky. Well, 9 Russian goalies. This is a glorified exhibition series. It's all it is. And my interest is going to be very, very low. Now, as a player, all of these players want to be named to it because it is such a cool honor to put on Team Canada jersey.
It is.
But as a fan, this is the Olympics. That is awesome. Yeah, but if I'm an Oiler fan and Connor McDavid gets hurt in this tournament, I'm pretty pissed. Really, one thing to fight playing for Canada for an Olympic gold medal, but this is I'm not sold on this tournament at all.
I'm not at all. I'll watch. I'll watch something. Like I
can't help but think I can't help but think, though, Canada USA, it will be best on best. Canada USA puck drop Saturday night, the Bell Center in Montreal, packed house. Matthews and McDavid staring across from each other in the opening faceoff. I can't help but feel like they're going to go pretty hard. Put a percent on it, Struds. If 100% is Stanley Cup final intensity level, what will Four Nations face-off be?
How is this tournament different? Yeah, how is this tournament different than the NBA in-season tournament? What's the difference?
I still don't understand that tournament. I really don't. I seriously don't understand. And all of their courts are different color too. It's throwing me completely off that tournament.
I do like that. But I just and I know that this is internet. This is a national team. This is the inside the NBA. But I just, hey, what are we playing for? Look at we're playing for that with the Four Nations Cup. Oh, geez, okay, we gotta better go for it.
And let's be honest, are these the best Four Nations? That's the thing. It's the Four Nations Cup. They don't even have the best Four Nations.
Yeah.
So
I think let's call it what it is. They had to get something that has some international feel on the calendar because there hasn't been some for so long. And so this is what they did. And I get it. Like, I understand it. Doesn't mean that it has to be, to me, it's even lower than the World Championships. And that's pretty low in my books.
All right. That was a breakdown brought to you by Alberta Ram Dealers. Zuby, hop on in here. Let's get our YouTube poll done. Before we do that, though, Zuby, being the goaltender of the group, who are your three tendies for Canada at the tournament?
I'll be a little bit contrarian. I don't love Jordan Binnington. The run he went on in the Stanley Cup final was incredible. He was fabulous that year.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't love him. He's been, to me, kind of mediocre since then. I know the team is bad. He's 7-9 this year. I'm not really sure why he's penciled in, I guess, because he won that cup. To me, Aiden Hill is the guy right now. When I watch him, he's the modern big goalie, just doing it so well. I don't get to see him that much other than when the Oilers play him, but he just looks like there's nothing to shoot at. But he's fairly mobile too. So I don't know. To me, he's the guy going in, and then I don't know. This is kind of like the Doughty pick. I would want Marc-Andre Fleury there. He's, just the pedigree, the experience, a beloved guy in the room. He's shown now that he can be the starter, but he can be the backup too and embrace that role.
Yep.
And he's got big save ability. And when we're talking about that, can turn the tide in the game. We're talking about these games and what the effort's going to be. Are they going to be 7-5 game? Are they going to, are we going to see any of that? Is it going to be all-star games? Cause I'd rather have Marc-Andre Fleury in an all-star game who might make a crazy acrobatic save that turns the tide. Maybe he's the third guy. And then I guess I would take then either Talbot or Thompson because I see both of those guys. Those are the guys in the, goals saved.
Say a name, Zuby. Say a name. Say a third guy.
Okay, I'll say Talbot.
All right, you're the goalie of the group. You're not allowed to sit on the fence, buddy.
Okay,
so
I'll say Talbot because he's got the metrics. Talbot's got all the metrics this year. If you want to go with the hottest hand this year, Talbot's metrics are fabulous over all of the. I believe he's the clubhouse leader of the Canadian goalies in that regard.
All right, good stuff. Let's get to our DeBoer's YouTube poll, helping you play better golf since 1999 with their TrackMan fitting bays, instruction, after-sales support, merchandise, and clothing. Go down, check out their pro shop style atmosphere located at 5311 99th Street in Edmonton. Zuby, what do we got tonight, buddy?
Oh, controversy, of course.
Okay.
It's been discussed a little bit here on the stream recently. So the poll question tonight is, when do you typically put up your Christmas tree? And these are the options. We've got right after Halloween. We've got between November 12th and 30th, early December, or no tree for me, thanks. There's some people out there certainly who do not have Christmas trees, I think. So
Scrooge.
So I left that.
Wow.
I gave that an option too. And those are the four choices. And mine went up today, so I guess I'm early December.
Yep. Brownie, when does your tree go up?
December 1st. Well,
December
it does
1st.
now. Up until this is our third year of the fake tree. When it was a real tree, it went up on December 16th. But a fake tree goes up December 1st.
All right, good stuff. That is our DeBoer's YouTube poll. We'll try and remember to give the results a little bit later on in the show. We are way late in this segment. We're going to break. We'll come back with Struddy's World and Brownie Points. Stay with us.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at secolandentistry.com.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good. All right, time now for Struddy's World, brought to you by Timber House. If you're tired of those dull cookie-cutter houses that scream meh from every angle, at Timber House, they like to shake things up. Their designs harness the power of natural light that will brighten your days and lift your spirits, because life's too short for an ordinary house and dull living. Let them build you a place where good times, laughter are part of the blueprint. Visit timberhouse.ca. Struds.
There are many things I love about this pod, right? The way that the information we give, the camaraderie we have as a group of people, it's all fantastic. And Schauger is detailed down to, the little minutia that most of us overlook. So every beginning of every month, he sends out the great group chat like Moses coming down, pronouncing when all the shows are going to be, right? We get a schedule. He takes a picture of a schedule, looks like he has an office or something, and brings it down and puts it in our group chat. These are the dates. So I pick it up this month and I look at it and I see there's dates that doesn't include tonight. So I send in the group chat, is there a pod tonight? And we get it back. He's like, yes, like we spoke about before, and is on the schedule. So I went and looked at the schedule again because I thought perhaps maybe I was incorrect, but it turns out as per usual, I wasn't, and it isn't on the schedule. So I am just trying to just let everyone know that Schauger's organized, but this schedule is neither here nor there at times. And it is in flux. I think they call it, Brownie.
Well, it's funny. On Sunday, December 1st, so you're right. On the end of November, we got the schedule. All right, so Sunday, December 1st, I text, hey, are we doing a pod tonight? Nope, we don't have one tonight. It's on Monday. On the schedule, it had December 1st. So December 1st, the first day of the month, our schedule is already blown up. Like very first day of the month, it's blown up. So sometimes I start thinking, like, how does it get so confusing? Then I'm like, okay, you know what it probably is? Schauger's in his garage. He's playing golf. He's 14 over after 9. He's saying, you know what? I am having a career game. I am going to stay and I'm going to play 36 today. So I'm going to blow up the pod tonight so that I can get 36 in and continue this great golf game that I'm having. So like the month of November, I had one, I'm down in Mexico and I'm okay, what day can I have a dozen margaritas? What day do I have to have only 6 because I got a podcast? And I kept texting like, hey, are we doing one tonight? Can you send me the list? I get crickets. And then all of a sudden, yep, we're doing one tonight. I'm like, it's not on the schedule. But you're a busy guy.
Busy. Detailed.
That was Struddy's World, brought to you by Timber House Developments. Time now for Brownie Point. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, Struddy, the fact that you're the one pissing and moaning about this today is funny to me. Because I screwed one of you over with tonight's show, but it wasn't you. Brownie is the one that got screwed over here. He was not made aware of the change because he wasn't on the last pod. Do you not recall, Struds? when we finished the last pod, we went specifically over what the next 3 days of the pod were going to be. I said to you, so we'll go Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. I said it twice in our little post-pod chat. I know you're half asleep for the back half of every show, but wake up for the chat at the end because there's some important stuff.
No, listen, I'm going to tell you the truth, Sugar, and you're not going to want to hear this. I apologize. I have never looked at the schedule you sent out, not one time, because in my mind, I know it's kind of when it is. So this month, I did look at the schedule, and I saw that there wasn't one tonight, so it threw me off.
But
even though we hadn't had the conversation.
We just talked the other night. I told you what day it was. I thought, so when you text, I was like, what? So here's how it was. You go, is there a pod tonight? It isn't on the schedule. And I'm thinking, dummy, we just talked about this the other night. Now, when Brownie texted me, I went, oh, I forgot to tell Brownie. So you dedicate your whole segment to it when you knew.
But I second guessed myself because I trust the master schedule. It's actually a compliment to you, Shaw.
I said it like a month and a half ago. We sent like a month or two in advance. Anyways, all right. You know what? I'm going to put Randine in charge of this. For those of you that don't know Randine, my amazing wife, she handles a lot of logistics, behind-the-scenes stuff for the show. She will be in charge now of texting both of you the week schedule in advance because we've got high-maintenance poodles that can't remember what they're told. That was Struddy's World, brought to you by Timber House.
Yeah, get no respect.
All right, roll some happy music and cheer me up because that one made me grumpy. Time now for Brownie Points, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky, the Alberta-based family-owned business opened in 1962. And their jerky is out of this world. You know it. Went up to the International Space Station. How crazy is that? But they've got a great stocking stuffer package for you right now. 4 half-pound packs of jerky, $55. 4 half-pound packs of jerky, $55. As always, free shipping Alberta-wide. Visit albertajerky.com to order yours. Enter the code GOTYOURBACK for an additional 10% off.
Well, let us start with 100 brownie points to possibly the best Struddy's World of the season. That was spot on.
I can't believe Timberhouse paid money for that.
They're detailed.
Oh, Struddy. I mean, seriously, that was perfect. So, you know what? We're never going to get a bad schedule again, though. See, that was worth 100 brownie points you just gave us. I got 25 brownie points to the month of December, the first 25 days of December, my favorite 25 days of the year leading up to Christmas. Starts with Christmas tree on the 1st, and then parties, and everyone's happy, and Merry Christmases, and I look forward to this, and then my kid gets to come home at Christmas time. So yes, 25 to the month of December. I have three big brownie points to our buddy Louis DeBrusk baby boy Jake. Scored a hat trick last night, including the game winner in overtime against the Detroit Red Wings. Jake is a fantastic young man. He got his father's personality, and thank God he got his mother's skills. So good for Jake last night getting a hat trick. I've got 24 brownie points to the Buffalo Bills fans who shoveled snow for over 24 hours in the Buffalo Bills Stadium. They sent out a message. They call them the Buffalo Bills Mafia. And they had all these fans show up. They had over 2 feet of snow. And the fans came. They got $20 an hour, free meals, and free hot drinks to shovel. And I don't know what, it's 60,000, 80,000 seats in the Buffalo Bills Stadium. And they showed these guys and women shoveling. It was unbelievable. So I give credit to them. And my last one, I'm taking away, I might actually be behind Shogger now. I'm taking 36 brownie points away from me, minus 36, for deciding to get all my blood work done for my yearly physical after my 6 margarita a day trip to Mexico. I went today and got my blood work done. I did notice that there was more tequila coming out than there was red blood. So I'm probably going to get a phone call from my doctor tomorrow. So I might not be on tomorrow night's broadcast. I might be redoing my tests. So I took 36 away from me today. So, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is today's brownie points.
Clean it up, Brownie. There's no show tomorrow night, by the way. I don't know what you're talking about. So
I'm waiting for your lovely wife to let me know when the next show is. Yes.
I'm kidding, everybody. Of course, we will have a post-game pod tomorrow night. All right, Brownie, I see you're drinking some water, buddy. Stick to that for a little while. Thin out that blood, clean it up, and go get a retest done, my friend.
Sounds good, guys.
All right, see you, Brownie.
Bye-bye.
All right, that was Rob Brown. Struds, we got two things to take care of before we go to break here. Relentless Player of the Day. I know the orders were off, but still lots else going on out there. So let's get to it. Brought to you by UCAN Youth Services and Edmonton Charity. Relentless in helping youth age 16 to 24 get out of harm's way and find employment. Visit ucan.ca to see how your donation can change lives right here in our community. Struddy, who do you got, buddy?
Yeah, these games are huge between the Devils and the Rangers. And the Devils actually took it to the Rangers tonight, 5-1. And I'm sure post-game there's Laviolette, there's Drury, there's a lot of guys defending this group. But the relentless player, I'm going to go with Jesper Bratt. He had a great 4-point night, 1 goal, 3 assists for his team. And, you know, it's for the Rangers, it's kind of like the Oilers. Like you don't want them to lose, but if you lose big, don't lose to the Islanders or the Devils. And it's the same for all those 3 teams in any order. So tough night. And that's going to be a long night for Rangers faithful.
Really reeling in New York. Like, man, when those trade rumors come out, those names leak. That's just going to reverberate through a room. Like, that would take a little time to shake loose from a group, eh?
Yeah, Chris Drury is an interesting play. Right? It's a bold move to shake up your group, and maybe he actually does want to shake up. I don't know, but that's a really big move to make. And they weren't like they were drowning in the season either, right? Yeah. They were still in pretty good shape, but this loss tonight, man, that's a tough one. That loss hurts.
Yeah. All right, we've got Elks new head coach Mark Kilam coming up in our next segment, but as we go to break, we are going to go to break with our In the System. And that is brought to you by Long Shots Indoor Golf and Sports Bar. Their premium indoor facility is equipped with state-of-the-art TrackMan technology, perfect for golfers of all levels. Whether you're looking to eat, drink, or play, or just watch the game, Long Shots Sports Bar atmosphere, fully licensed kitchen and bar will not disappoint. Really is a great spot. Whether you want to play, just chill out, watch games, longshots with a Z.ca. Here is our young prospect, Ryan Reed, with a look in the system.
The Condors have lost 3 straight games, scoring only 4 goals over that span, including a 3-1 defeat to the Ontario Reign during Saturday's Teddy Bear Toss game. Alex Swetlikoff scored the 5th fastest Teddy Bear Toss goal in team history at 2:50 of the first period. This was his 2nd career Teddy Bear Toss goal. Matthew Savoy has 1 point in his last 5 games and 10 points in 18 games this season, while Seth Griffith leads the team with 13 points in 17 games, including 7 goals. Despite the team's struggles, Olivier Rodrigue boasts a .925 save percentage, tied for 7th in the AHL. The Condors sit 8th in the Pacific Division and will face San Diego on December 6th. Sam O'Reilly tallied 2 goals and an assist in London's 10-3 win Sunday, with 5 goals and 8 points in his last 5 games. William Nicol maintains a point-per-game pace with 26 in 26 games. In Barrie, Bo Akey has 1 goal in his last 10 games, but was named to Canada's World Juniors training camp. Dallin Wakely has 6 goals in his last 10 games and 19 points in 17 games this season. 2020 5th-round pick Maxime Berryashkin has 3 goals in his last 5 KHL games, tallying 23 points in 33 games with a +15 rating, tied for 9th in the league. 2023 5th-round pick Paul Fisher, with 9 assists in 16 games for Notre Dame, was selected for the U.S. World Juniors training camp. I'm Ryan Reed, and that is what's happening in the system.
With over 18 years in the industry, Kelly Zaretsky and her team at Blue Summit Accounting deliver client-focused solutions and financial guidance for success in a simple and comfortable way. Whether it's for corporate or personal needs, Blue Summit Accounting can help with taxes, estate planning, financial services, bookkeeping, and more. Get in touch today. Email bluesummitacct@gmail.com or call 780-416-9662.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
All right, time now for our takeaways, brought to you by Martin Motorsports. The snow, boy, is it ever here. And the adventure awaits, whether you're looking for a machine to conquer the climb on your next mountain ride or to cruise along the trails. Visit Martin Motorsports in store or online to find the Skidoo, Lynx, or Widescape snowmobile that is right for you. View their lineup online at martinmotorsports.ca. Look at those phenomenal machines. Looks like tons of winter fun. Whoa! We got the three-shot. Oh, there we go. Nice fix there, Zuby. Tight little change there.
I was expecting Brownie in this segment earlier. My bad.
He gone. Brownie gone. So the third time in the last few weeks was down at Elks for a press conference in the locker room, Struts. Mark Kilam introduced as the head guy today. The one thing I would say about both Chris Morris and Mark Kilam, and Hervey to a degree, but they got positivity and energy to spare. I'm not sure if you saw the press conference, but just tons of energy, man, and enthusiasm. This guy's fired up to do this for the first time.
It's exciting. I did see it. And he, I've known of him. You see him on the sidelines, they're in those games and such. And, it feels like they're really trying to stay connected to Alberta, and if not Edmonton. And all these three guys have had experience here in Edmonton. They're not pulling someone from, a college program down in Alabama. Like, it's someone that is connected to, understands what the CFL and what the Elks mean to the league and mean to this, should mean to this city. So I think that was obviously something they had a plan of with the Thompson, maybe as they put it together.
Had a nice chance to catch up with him today. Gave us a real solid got your back story as well. Here's my conversation with new Elks head coach Mark Kilam. It's funny, Mark, I've seen you on the sidelines all these years, and you're in those Stampeder colors. That's what I envision you in when I think about you. But it was notable to me when during your press conference, you talked about the amount of time you've actually spent in your life wearing green and gold. Just take people through that, how much the green and gold colors are actually kind of where you started.
Yeah, I mean, the first football game I ever watched as a kid, I was about 6 or 7. It was at an Eskimos game here in Commonwealth Stadium. The first time I put the shoulder pads and helmet on, it was for the Gilbert Patterson Eskimos in Lethbridge, and we were green and gold. Way back when everyone had the mesh jerseys, the mesh green and gold. It was awesome. Then I played high school football at LCI in Lethbridge, green and gold. Obviously, everyone's familiar. I played for the Bears, green and gold. And it's just something that those colors, I remember actually when I started working for Calgary, I was like, I'm going to have to adjust to wearing red. Growing up, red was Raymond, red was the opponent Dinos, our nemesis. But I'm really excited to put the colors back on. It feels like home.
So you spend all these years with one organization, and it's kind of rare. I mean, it probably says something about you that you stay with that organization waiting for your opportunity. What are the things that you learned watching the guys doing it, who were doing it while you were there? What are the things you sort of took from them and will apply to this, your first crack at this job?
Yeah, I mean, you can go through the amount of people that went through that organization, and they're all high-quality people. The single biggest influence on my football career is John Huffnagel. When he came up, he really taught a lot of people, not just myself, about what winning football looks like, what it feels like, what an organization acts like. So that definitely, John Huff in his early days, that was my single biggest influence.
So you get into a meeting with Ed Hervey, trying to sell yourself on this job. They're trying to get a sense for what you're all about. You talked about this energy and synergy that you felt today. What did you want to bring across to them in that meeting, and why do you think it worked?
I really wanted to bring across that I'm ready for this opportunity. You know what I mean? I feel like I mentioned, having a team that has a chip on their shoulder. I do have a chip on my shoulder, but I've always treated it as a chip that's driving me forward. It's not a negative chip. It's something that I use to propel myself forward, and I really wanted to come across that I'm ready for this opportunity. This is my time. The sum of my experiences have prepared me to hit the ground running, and I wanted to communicate that clearly.
Where'd the chip on your shoulder come from?
I was born with it, brother. I don't know. I've always had it. You know what? It's interesting. My youngest daughter has a very similar chip.
Really?
Yeah.
What's her name?
Hennessy. Okay. Yeah. When you watch her play basketball, she's a pit bull, and we call her the FTD in our house. That's the full-time dog. So it's just I was born with it, and it's just something that I have. And I don't know if it's because I always felt like I always had to prove myself. You know, I was undersized growing up. I was told I was too Canadian when there wasn't a lot of Canadians coaching in the CFL. You know, when I became a coordinator at 30, there was no Canadian coordinators at the time. I mean, it's just something that I've always felt like I've had to prove. And then going through the interview process for 6 years, you know, I know special teams are not sexy picks. I understand that, but it's something that like I said, I use it to make myself better and drive me forward.
You talked in your press conference about playing a style that the fans here are going to really understand and jive with. Reconnecting with the fan base is something the organization, I think, has been making an effort to do over the last few years. I think some of these hires along the way probably help it. What is that style you think that this fan base is craving?
Well, I'm not
winning, obviously, but
yeah, I mean, I'm not going. Yeah, winning. Of course, it's always going to be about winning. But you can't just focus on that. You got to focus on what you're doing on the day to day to get to there. But you know, I'm not going to give away all my things. But the people that have worked for me on my units, we always play a certain style of football, and that's behind our shoulder pads. It's a physical style of football. It's the way the game was made to be played, and I feel like that style will resonate with the community.
Community's definitely taken to Trey Ford, right? The style, the excitement, all that sort of thing. I know Ed's going to handle his business. There's contract negotiations that have to happen. What's your role here with Trey Ford? Maybe getting to understand what he's looking for, you know, letting him know what you're looking for and how big a role that plays in his decisions.
Yeah, I mean, I want to reach out. I'd love to sit down with him and have lunch. I mean, I feel like looking at my career, a quarterback is not a specialist in a sense, but I've been working with specialists, and everyone knows when a specialist succeeds or fails. If you miss a field goal or you make a field goal. We've created over the years a very supportive environment for those guys, and that's a strength of mine, and I feel like I want all of our players, not just Trey, to feel like we have their best interest at heart, and we want them to succeed, and I want to communicate that point to him.
All right, little off football topics. Let people get to know you a little bit. What else do you do outside of football? What other interests you have? What are your hobbies? What do you like doing?
Yeah, I love snowboarding. You know, I love getting in the mountains. The mountains make me feel a certain type of way. It's I don't know if it makes you feel small and really connecting with nature. We have my family has a little cabin in the woods in interior BC that I like to spend some time in the winter. I only usually get out there in the winter, but I mean, I'll build a massive snow fort around the fire pit and just spend a lot of time staring at the mountains. But it's something I do to disconnect, but also to go inside and clear my head.
Greece. And what about other things like, you know, who's on the stereo in the car ride, like music tastes, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, well, the other day we were listening to, I always try to get my kids to give me some new stuff, and I couldn't handle one of the songs, and I eventually had to change it 90 seconds in.
Is it Taylor Swift?
No, I don't know what it was, but my youngest daughter said, "Dad, why you don't like it? Because it's not heavy metal." That's what she said to me, but you know, I like... I think I'm well-rounded in my music taste, but the one thing I'm really excited about Edmonton, you guys get all the concerts up here, so I'm excited about that. Yeah.
Gooders.
Yeah.
Take good care of the goatee as well, like the beard and the goatee. How much time goes into that?
Well, it's just easier to have to shave every day, so just a little trim up, do it myself. So yeah.
So the name of the podcast is Got Your Back. We love talking to people about a time in their life where someone came through for them and had their back. So on your journey in life, who had your back?
You know, you could go super deep on it. We could probably have a full campsite fire conversation about it. But just a football example is easiest because that's what's on everyone's mind today. When I first became a coordinator in 2010, when you first take over special teams, there's a lot of information. You know what I mean? If you try to take all of it on, it'll just crush you. I remember our first game. We played, that was Chad Owens' first year. Our first game, he had a 90-yard punt return touchdown against us. And I was like, whoa. The very next game, we went to Hamilton. We played Chris Williams, had a missed field goal to the house. And I started thinking, geez, I might be out of here by game 3. And I remember Huff coming down to my office. And, you know, Huff, the thing I respect the most about him is he promoted from within, but he allowed you to make mistakes. And then if he had a point, he would correct you on it. And so he came into my office, didn't embarrass me in front of the team, and just kind of said some things to me about how we were running things. So then I took a look at how we're playing our gunners, how we're playing our coverage, which forced me to teach it better. He had my back in a critical time. Obviously, the arrow went up. We started to improve. but I appreciate him for that moment in time.
Love it. Great story. Thanks for sharing. Congratulations on the job and good luck. Look forward to chatting a lot more.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it.
All right, there you have it. Elks new head coach Mark Kilam. Struds, anything stand out to you?
Yeah, you're right. He is really positive, but I love his energy, right? And I think that this group right now needs a coach that is going to be out there, bringing energy to the group and instilling confidence in them. I think he's going to be very detail oriented by the way he's coaching and make sure guys understand what their jobs are, but instill confidence, because I think the team's been beat up for a number of years here, just with their record, and I think they need this.
Yeah, 100%. The Trey Ford situation will be interesting moving forward, too. Ed Hervey, I'm sure, is having conversations along the way here, but now that they have a head coach in place, those conversations begin. Offensive coordinator comes next, and those conversations continue, but it'll be interesting to see where they land with Trey Ford. Everybody very careful when asked questions about that situation. We'll see what happens. All right, that was Takeaways brought to you by Martin Motorsports. Quick break. Plenty of show left. You're got it dialed on to Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
At HSE Core, we are dedicated to providing unparalleled safety compliance services to small and medium-sized businesses through our monthly health and safety program management, including managing contractor screening registries and core auditing services. Let HSE Core Services help you maintain a safe workplace for you and your valued employees. Visit us at hsecore.com.
All right, time now to take a couple of laps, brought to you by our good friends over at Aecon. 150 years in the construction industry, they've spearheaded some of the most notable projects across the country, one of Canada's original leaders in heavy industrial contracting. They're operating proudly here in Edmonton, and they are looking for workers, always looking for quality people. So if you are looking for a job, or if anybody you know, go to aecon.com and click Join Our Team. Tradespeople, general laborers, all kinds of stuff. There's a comprehensive list of people that they're looking for, not just in Edmonton, but quite frankly across the country. So if someone that you know is looking for work, aecon.com and click Join Our Team. Struds, where are we going, buddy?
Alexander Ovechkin was injured mid-November. He got on the ice before his team practiced today with nothing exciting, just gloves and a stick and skates.
He was on the ice.
Tracksuit. And he was on the ice. So suffered a pretty significant injury, like I said, middle November, still slated for 4 to 6 weeks. So again, when you're on the ice, I can guess he was just out there to see how it feels very, very lightly. So Ovi back, would like to get back soon, I'm sure, to help chase his Stanley Cup, his Wayne Gretzky record. Next,
for sure.
It's really important.
Buddy.
Next down to Calgary, Johnny Gaudreau's dad skated with the Flames today. There's going to be a big ceremony.
So cool.
Yeah, really. And, give credit to Columbus, Philly even, and then obviously the Flames, doing their best to honor these young guys and help this family through this horrendous time. But he was on the ice with the guys today, and it seemed like he was having some interaction, and there'll be a special event tomorrow night. And I think I'll try to tune in to that if I can. So good on the Flames, and all the teams that are doing things to help this out. And then lastly, with the situation going on in the goalies in Carolina, Fredrik Andersen out, kind of indefinitely a little bit. They signed a goalie out of the AHL, Chicago Wolves, Dustin Tokarski. 35-year-old guy. Has had a good start there by all reports and by his numbers. So he's signed by them for a 1-year deal, 2-way, just to help because they're getting pretty thin back there with goalie Rishaug.
Yeah, well, Kochetkov and Anderson, the list kind of goes on and on. And that's a team that's in their window. That's a really good team, Struddy. And it would be a shame for this team not to have a chance to go as deep as they potentially could if they injuries or can't quite get their goaltending scenario fixed out, man.
And you just, honestly, man, you never know. The injuries can start piling up, and you need people that can come in and play for you and help out. So, I hope they're probably thinking, we hope we don't have to play him at all, but you never know. You just never know what the type of injuries they've had. Were they down to Spencer Martin right now? And no disrespect to him, but you got to have some depth in that position.
Okay, that was Taking a Lap, brought to you by Acon. Struds, grab your scoreboard, get ready for that. Everybody fire in the last of your Ask Us Anything questions. Zuby's been compiling those, and we'll get to that in just a minute. But first, let's take a look at what else was going on around the league, courtesy of our friends at Canadian Club, in honor of the founding year of the CC Distillery, 1858. The all-new Canadian Club Classic 18-year-old high proof is 58%. Oh, yeah. Packs a punch, but you wouldn't know it. It is so smooth. Full-bodied whiskey, aromas of caramel, toffee, spicy vanilla, and rich oak with a butterscotch finish that is oh so smooth. Struds?
Yeah, so we touched on a little bit earlier. They got the Devils just pounding the Rangers. That's a real ass-kicking 5-1. Jesper Bratt 4 points, but Hughes also had 3 points in that one. So they get a win, and that'll cause some significant turmoil inside that already what sounds like chaotic situation with the New York Rangers. The second game of the three we'll get to, and Maple Leafs, they win 4-1 against the Blackhawks. Austin Matthews get his first goal back since his injury. We have Nyes getting an empty netter, and then Tavares scores as well. So that team is playing really well. That is a good team. They're playing well defensively. They're starting to get a little bit healthy, starting their big gunner going. And then finally, there's about 10 minutes left in this game. The Stars are up 2-1 against Utah in Utah. Nick Schmaltz, his third goal of the year. He had a really, really slow start to the year. I'm talking really slow start. And he's up to 3 goals now after another one tonight.
Circling back to the Leafs, a guy whose name probably should have at least come up in our discussions about Team Canada as a seventh defenseman is Tanev. Don't you think? Specialist. Defensive specialist, killer, reliable.
Yeah, no, that was coming out of Toronto. All the fans and media from there. If he played for Columbus, he wouldn't even be on anyone's radar. I think. Listen, I like Tanev. I don't believe he skates and or moves the puck at an elite level enough to bring him in there. I think you got to have people who can do multiple things. So no, I do truly believe if he was still playing for Dallas, I don't think he'd even be on the radar.
Right on. I like that. He was on a couple of guys' final rosters. I think final prognostication rosters. It's gonna be awesome. Can't wait to see what it looks like. We'll finally have our answers. I know you're not totally sold on it yet, but I feel like we're gonna have a slow build. I think we might get you on board. I'm excited. I think I'm going. Looks like I'm going to be going to cover it for TSN. So I'm getting excited about doing that. Okay. That was our scoreboard brought to you by Canadian Club Whiskey. All right, Zuby, hop on in here, my friend. A solid number on an off night. We thank everybody for joining us here on the live stream. If you get an opportunity, please hit the like button for us. Love it when you do that. It definitely helps us out a lot. Time for Ask Us Anything, brought to you by BJ Electric Supplies. They're Edmonton-based, independent, an electric wholesaler offering a wide range of products from lighting and lighting controls, wiring accessories, control and hazardous products. You name it, they likely have it. Serving electrical contractors working in Alberta's oil and gas, commercial, residential, and OEM sectors. Check them out at bjelectric.ca. There we go, Zuby.
There you are.
Should we wrap the poll before we forget? Wrap the poll?
That's what I was going to do. Maybe some surprising results here tonight. So the question was, when do you typically put up your Christmas tree? I don't think this is surprising. Early December, 49% of the vote. November 12th to 30th, 22% of the vote, but very close. Right behind that, 21% of the vote. No tree for me. 21% of the vote.
Okay.
No Christmas tree. There could be there's all kinds of reasons.
Yeah, there could be all reasons, right? Different people that celebrate different things and such. So we respect everybody. But I'd be interested in people who traditionally would be those who celebrate Christmas if they just don't make that part of their Christmas celebration. There's just no tree involved, but they still have Christmas, I wonder.
Yeah, exactly. Well, anyone who voted no tree is free to pop in their reasons, and we could explore that here and ask us anything. And then right after Halloween came in last at 6%. So still 6% of our respondents are eager to get it going.
She's also excited for pumpkin spice on August 12th. Like she's a month ahead all the time.
Oh, I got to find my shot here because I had set up this other one and I don't want to be not you again.
That's okay. No worries. I'll fill a little bit of time for you. I love the contribution here from Todd Gack. Listen up, Struddy. Todd chiming in saying, Shoggy, my grandpa told your joke at brunch and it murdered. I mean, I left out the part that it was 20 years ago, but either way, his grandfather told my joke at brunch and it murdered. Whether it was yesterday or 20 years ago, the joke holds. Thanks, Todd.
And Ace 96 was once mugged by a Christmas tree one time, or mugged by a tree one time out camping. So I guess that's just some difficult memories there. So he's chosen not to put up a Christmas tree. I understand.
Work your way through that.
Okay, some hockey stuff here tonight on the stream, and let's get to it. Where Matt Blom, we had a couple of...
This would be just a good chirp from JL. More people set up trees right after Halloween than find Shogger funny. I think that was...
That's a good line. Now that's funny.
That is funny.
Who asked you, Struds? Who asked you?
On some other players for Team Canada, Matt Blom says, call me a homer, but should Horvat have gotten some consideration as a Team Canada fourth liner, defense, and bumper presence leadership too?
You're a homer.
Yeah, I
can't.
Fan,
right?
I
you know
can't
he's
get
gone.
too behind
Right?
that. Yeah, I like Bo Horvat as a player. I don't think. Yeah, he's not. When you talk to people we're talking about, he's not as dynamic as them scoring, and not as physical as a lot of those guys. So where do you fit in?
Not super fast either.
No, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here's an interesting Oilers question it's a little revisionist history, but interesting perspective. Leaky37 saying, anyone rather have that McLeod-Skinner trade back? Not a trade, of course, but it was looked at that by many people, looked that way. Never thought I would even think that, but which current version of those two players is more needed by the Oilers right now?
Well, I'm not going to revise history here, Struds. When they traded Ryan McLeod, fundamentally, I was okay with that decision. That was before they lost Dylan Holloway. If you would have said to me they are likely to lose Dylan Holloway, I'd have said, well, you better hang on to Ryan McLeod then. It's the combination of losing McLeod and Holloway in the same offseason. Fogle we knew was going too. That's what is not tenable, Struds. So I was fine with the McLeod deal at the time. I will stand by that. But the combination of that and losing Holloway was murder.
Yeah, and I think you also have to consider they're looking down the road, right? I think McLeod's next contract, is going to be decent size and probably something they wouldn't be able to fit in. So I think that they're like, yeah, let's trade him early. We'll get stuff back that we can hopefully use, and then they take Skinner. And I thought it'd be going better with Skinner. But I still think it's also on the coach to help him kind of find a home here.
Yep.
On a line that is more significant than he's currently playing on.
All right, Sue chimed in a little bit earlier when we were talking about Four Nations and said, line, Crosby, McDavid, Bedard. Is that, maybe that's not going to happen. Maybe Bedard's not even going to be on the team, but is that the kind of thing maybe people should be more excited about Four Nations for, is just some of the kind of fantasy stuff we get to see?
Yeah, seeing them all in one place. That's exciting. Like if you're going to those games, that'll be fun. I'm if we're able to go there and you're able to watch these guys play, it's a lot of fun, for sure. And I'd love to see Sid beside McDavid, or McDavid beside Sid. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I mean, he's perfect at third line center, really. I mean, I don't think there's any way that McKinnon or McDavid moved to the wing. Doesn't make sense to play those guys together. I would not play those two together. They're both speedsters and puck transporters. Doesn't make sense. Now, could Sid shift to the wing and play with one of them? Sure, he could. I mean, Sam Reinhart would be a great third line center too. Like, that guy's in the Selke conversation, right? Like, he's So he could do that job too. But yeah, I feel like it's going to be McDavid, McKinnon, Crosby, 1, 2, 3 down the middle.
Okay, one more sort of hockey one, and then we'll get into some additional fun here. Paulie wants to know. We'll get into this, I'm sure, more once the rosters are official. But predictions for the finals winner and place of each team at Four Nations. Maybe let's just rank them. What do you think the finish is going to be? 1, 2, 3, 4. Who do you got? With what we know now.
Well, okay, I'll go Canada first as a homer, Finland fourth, and then Sweden, America in there. So probably America 2, Sweden 3rd.
Yeah. So I think the United States has a fantastic set of forwards. I think they've got unbelievable goaltending, and in a short 4-game tournament like this, they're going to be really hard to beat, I believe. So I mean, betting against Canada, I want to see the rosters too, right? I want to see the rosters, but from what's available to them, I would say Canada, but it's going to be super tight. And then you got the USA, Sweden, and Finland in that order.
Okay, JL says, getting close to Struddy's favorite time of the year with everyone greeting him with a Happy New Year. I had a question based on this, Struddy. How early can someone say Happy New Year to you without it pissing you off? If someone's not going to see you again, if they see you on the 22nd, what happens if it's an early Happy New Year?
Yeah, no, I think early is fine. I mean, but
what?
I haven't heard a lot of early.
It hasn't happened yet.
I know, but I can live with it because it's still to come, right? But I haven't heard. Generally speaking, I don't get any Happy New Year's till after Christmas. That's how I work. And then you have a few days after Happy New Year, and it's time to move on. You can't be hammering.
Someone would have to be very specific. They would have to say, "Hi, Jason. I hope you have a good New Year's."
Yeah. Yeah.
They couldn't come up to you and be like, "Happy New Year," before it's the new year. That's ridiculous.
That doesn't bother me as the post one. Who did I shut down last year?
But New Year has happened.
Wasn't it Tony Brar?
January
Tony
1st.
Brar. Yeah, Tony Brar are still at odds over that whole me shutting down his. I reject, and I will be rejecting Happy New Year's. Maybe I better set a date. Let me think about that. I'll set a date after at what point I'll be rejecting Happy New Year's.
He came on the pod to talk about how crushed he was, didn't he, Zuby? Didn't we have a soundbite from him?
Yeah, you did a quick interview. You did a quick audio chat with him.
I love Tony. Yeah. I love Tony, but there's just, when
apparently you don't respect him that much, Struds. You just throw his happy gestures back at him.
I like him so much that I feel we have a good relationship. I can tell him how I feel, right? Speak my truth.
Okay, towards the beginning of the program, when Struds, you guys were telling the stories about hungover at practice, CK Pond mentioned that there's supposed to be a Messier Roxy story. Matt Blom followed up. The Vancouver Roxy from when Struddy played there. Tell me this story.
Whoa. Yeah, this sounds out of pocket. This sounds dicey. Alert.
This one is... No, there's really not. So what had happened is I was very young when I was playing there, and I enjoyed my Saturday nights out like I did. And so, the guys kind of knew that I'd be hitting the town on a Saturday night game. So I would go and I'd be getting ready, and all of a sudden there'd be a head over top my shoulders like, "Hey, where are you going tonight?" I look over, it's Mess. I'm like, "I'll go wherever you want to go." He's like, "Well," I said, "I'm going to go to the Rocks." He's like, "Okay, I'll meet you there at whatever time." He just named the time because he'd go out with his friends for dinner and stuff. And then, so I'd just rip over there and be like, "Mess is coming. We got to be organized." I'd make sure there was an area for him to come and sit in. And again, I don't want to make it sound like we were best friends, but I had a role and he was ready, and he'd come wheeling in. And it was just always the most fun because you're, out having a good time with Mess. And I'd say I probably had a lot more fun than he did, but he'd done it for a while. But it was great. And it would happen every now and then, maybe once a month or less, whatever. You'd be like, "Hey, where are you going tonight?" "I'm going wherever you want." I don't care. I'll do whatever you want to do. You just tell me. So yeah, that was, and the Roxy's a lot of fun when you're 25, 23, whatever age it was.
You don't have to bring the comment he made is a little bit crass there from Todd Gack, but he remembered that my Roxy story involved an emergency bathroom situation. That's the best story I have at the Roxy. Literally had no choice. And we're not going to get too graphic.
No.
We're a family-friendly show. But yes, it had to happen, and it just happened to be at the Roxy with a bathroom door that was basically falling off the hinges. It was not an ideal scenario. Like getting next door was not even an option. So thanks Todd for reminding us all of that.
Struds, I love that you're the social coordinator of the team. Everyone has to come to you to see what's going on.
Well, I think I was at that point, I was single. I was young and single. So like he knew I was good to go. Right. And he could rebound. I could, be hungover and rebound in an hour the next morning. Right. So I was fun.
It.
I was a fun guy.
All right. Is that it, Zuby?
Jeff, do you want to do the Jeff McDonald one? He said, can you guys tell us the story of how you first met and got together and your first impressions of each other? Because you argue like an old married couple. I think he's referring to you.
Yeah. Well, when your employee steps out of line, you got to snap your employee back into line. So I'd say it's more boss and subordinate than it is husband and wife, Struds.
Goodness.
That's fair. And that's a fair comment. So I'll share one of my first times I spent a lot of time with Shoggers. We drove down, I think it was Red Deer. We were doing, was it the midget AAA game or something? Was it White Court?
Oh, no.
This is a long time ago.
Play-by-play thing.
Yeah, was it Red Deer?
I forgot about
Might
that.
Might even been further. So anyway, so we drive down there. Like I'm excited because I think I just retired and Shoggers was going to do the play-by-play and I'm doing the color. And I think it was maybe mid-AAA or maybe it was senior.
Telescope or something.
Yeah. So anyway, so we drive down there and everything goes fine. And Shoggers like, don't be nervous, whatever. And that was good. He was very helpful. So as we drive back and he had parked his car somewhere on the edge of the city. So we get there and Shogger can't find his keys. Do you remember this?
I'm sure I will, but
it was like not a minute. It was like 5-10 minutes. He's up. He's looking in his bag. He's looking in the back of my car. Could not find his keys forever. And I'm like, should I help him? Like, I don't know this guy that well. Like, should I look in his bags? And I don't want to embarrass him. Like, oh, take your time. Dude, it's fine. It's fine. And like,
hasn't been a long day at all.
It's like, and finally he found him. And you were getting rattled, like, not upset, but you're just like, oh, I feel so bad. I remember it was just, it's like, okay, it's going to be okay. But it's just a hard, you don't know someone that well and you lose your keys. Yeah. I'm like, what if they're back in Red Deer? Do we have to drive? Is he expecting me to drive him back there to go get the keys and look around? So yeah.
Would have been a bonding, some more bonding time for us. Yeah, no, it was a good trip, Studs. I remember that one. I remember I was tired and out of sorts from carrying you through that broadcast too. I was a little,
I believe
my back was extra sore that day. I forgot we went and did that, buddy. That's right.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. That's probably 10 years ago.
That is a long time ago. Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, and the other thing too, if people want to know the origin story of the podcast, Zuby, we'll dig up the video. Because we actually have video of Struds and I basically consummating the relationship and deciding that we were doing a podcast together. The video exists. And we did a promo. Before we had even done an episode, we promoted it. So maybe we'll dig up that video and we'll show it next pod or on one of these nights where we're a little less stuff going on.
A well-produced video as well. High level.
Yeah, it was like behind the scenes, it was like, documentary style, the making of Got Your Back. So we'll dig into that.
Okay,
ask us anything.
Last one, because we're going to get into this in a future poll. This is going to be a future poll, and Northern Farm Girl brought it up early. What's your favorite Christmas movie ever? And I think we've done this before, but I think we should get some on the record, and we'll do a poll here in the coming.
Struds?
Love Actually.
Yeah, you have said that before.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we ran you off the show the night you said that.
I think Brownie is a big fan of that one too. I think that's high on his list. You guys probably get together, watch it together. That'd be a lovely evening for you guys.
Just enjoy it.
It's Christmas Vacation for me and Elf. Those are kind of my two. We always watch them every year. Those would be my two.
And I would have said Christmas Vacation, but I'll go off the board a tiny bit because JL ask us anything. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? To which the answer resoundingly is yes. And I'll say that.
Yes, it is.
And I have my Seinfeld, my Festivus sweater. I have a Die Hard Christmas sweater too that I'll be debuting here in the next little while.
Perfect. All right, that was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by tune in for that one. Brought to you by BJ Electric Supplies. Let's get to our Gallery Dental Play of the Day. Take the first step towards a stress-free dental experience. They provide modern dentistry for today's patient with the most up-to-date dentistry, sedation implants, and so much more. Gallery Dental, YEG.com. That's GalleryDentalYEG.com.
Yeah, so a couple of days ago, we showed Bryson DeChambeau chipping over his house, and I think it took 16 days and 16 shots to nail it. Zuby showed us one of a young guy who did it 6 days. 6 shot in 6 day now, a smaller house and a much smaller landing area. But the confidence to it, I'm guessing he was like 8 or 9, this guy, maybe 10, and he absolutely nailed it. So that trumps Bryson DeChambeau's incredible.
I wonder if DeChambeau will give him a little shout out, or if I don't know if he would have or not yet, but he's got to, eh? Got to give the kids some props.
Got to do it. You got to do it.
I didn't grab it, but I'll retweet it through the Got Your Back Twitter if anybody wants to check that video out of the kid.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Give us a like. Give us a follow. Anything you got. Subscribe. Love having you along for the ride. Did I say that we consummated our relationship? Did I say that? I'm getting some action here on the stream.
Yeah.
Consummate the relationship? My God, was that supposed to somehow slip by everyone, says Bob's your uncle. Did I say that?
You did.
Yes, you did. And I didn't want to, I just tried to pretend I didn't hear it.
Consummate their relationship at the pump jack or the electric banana. All right. I don't know what that one's about.
That's a Vancouver joke.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry if I misspoke there. When Struds and I, when we dialed it in, when we made plans to bring you this amazing show that we get to do 4 times a week, buddy. Good job tonight.
Likewise. Good times, boys.
Zuby, thanks, man.
Yeah, my pleasure, guys. Good show.
All right. And thanks to all of you for joining us on the live stream or your downloads. If you're listening to us in podcast form, we greatly appreciate it. Oilers in Vegas set to go on Tuesday night. We'll drop pod right after. Struddy, mark that down. Podcast tomorrow night. Mark it down. We'll see you then.